They
It's like 8%
also
reduction flat
they
across the
also
board,
buffed literally everything else.
except Sebeshi. The thing is, I think they nerfed everything that was in H2 and buffed everything that was in H3.
And
And
Ottomans
Yeah,
have the
because
fastest
Ottomans
FF
are
timing in the game.
yeah, because
not
They'll just
anymore because they don't get the tower. They removed the tower.
they still have the fastest FF in the game. Like, there's no way they don't.
Without the tower,
Yeah.
you still have to gather 200 coin for that.
Okay, and you're not spending food on villagers.
That's true. So Sebeshi minus 5% HP. Nizam Fusilier, property respect population. Because that's a bug fix. Akinchi's cavalry archer train time at 50% less. That wasn't called for, but sure, whatever. No longer reduces the train time, but now reduces the cost of all Ottoman infantry instead. This is okay. This one is bad. Like you don't need to reduce the cost. But that's H4. At that point, either you bottoed and you're vulnerable to, well,
What
siege.
exactly?
Let's say you're vulnerable to something, all right? And the one other thing I dislike is they had this cool idea with like the heavy cavalry armor thing, but it's good. It's a bit too good, and they decided, how about we just bundle it with the church card? Like, no, you don't remove an opportunity cost like that. I hate that. But I mean, overall, the changes are fine because it's H4. Like by that time, your 45 villager economy is like completely overrun by Brits 99 plus 70 million fishing boats economy of Pete with Brits, and is spamming you with like a million longbowmen, and what you gonna do?
But
Like,
they decreased the cost of Azaps and they buffed Umbarachi. Like, I don't like this at all.
just the one reason I think why they buffed Ottoman is that they got one of the biggest nerfs ever to happen in this game, and I love it.
What
And
is
it's huge, and it's one line, and I don't see why it's not like in bold, in red, with a how do you say that? Just a flashing font. All light infantry units now deal minus 20% to cav.
Yeah.
All
That's true.
light. You literally changed the game.
That hits everybody.
That's yeah, that's true. That's huge.
Especially the one unit that did siege damage that went through cav, which had this. Sorry, what did you say?
I said that's fair because that is a huge nerf to Avis specifically.
On top of
Yeah.
the extra 5% resistance they lost. So
And there is the good design part. They add ASAP's card. They add ASAP's bonus. What they say is, now Ottoman, you suck against cav, and that's a clear design flow they introduce. And they say, you want to be strong against cav, you do the ASAPs now, and you have to macro for wood and food, and you have to do it. And it's the part of the skill that's now required in the civilization. You won't have just to say, oh, you know what? Let's just go for Silk Road and ship food and ship coin and just win the fucking game because you don't need skill for the civ. Now you do.
that's fair.
That is fair.
I'll give you that one. I mean, because that light infantry literally changes how the game functions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely.
I love it. I love every second of it.
Say again.
Like that is a huge change, and I completely agree with Dunamai here. Like that should be like in giant bold letters.
Yeah, that's literally just buried in the patch note. Like
it should be the #1 thing on this, like game-shaking change.
Units and buildings, like that could be very easily missed. Like light infantry units, That needs to be at the top of the everything. Cause that's huge. Units inflicting siege damage received higher negative multipliers, whereas counter skirmishers received lower ones. So light infantry even has that means Avis gunners even have more of a
Yeah,
negative
more.
multiplier.
And this is also inherent, like and even more. It's also a good. It's also a heavy nerf against fire throwers, which means if you want them to be resistant to cav, now you have to send the flamethrowers card.
Yeah. I love the Italy change.
Let me check Italy again. Italians.
They
The new
added
financiers. Oh,
yeah, they added a bunch of financiers card, which buffs the 2 Lombard start and
and can I just
also buffs or potentially enables my 3 Lombard start that I have yet to design, but
honestly, when I see these cards, I'm thinking a full Lombard build is now viable
yeah.
because you can now choose what unit you want to macro for through your Lombards,
Yeah.
and that is huge.
So you have in H2 you have the Lombard plus 700 coin and you have 1,000 food. In H3 you have 1,500 wood and 1,500 coin. So that's all good. You can literally just send those, and for the first like 15 minutes of the game, maybe not first 15 minutes, but for the first part of the game, you can literally your Lombards will be converting resources for the entire time. That also buffs the upgraded Lombard that makes them convert XP too.
Yeah. Can I just say something about this patch right now?
Go ahead.
There may be something that's not balanced. We don't see it. Maybe I don't see the math or some stuff that may be busted. But what I loved is that they gave each and every civ an identity.
Yeah.
They removed the 3 vills from Brits, but they buffed Virginia Company and GMT. So now you have 2 clear choices saying you can either villager boom, you can XP boom, and you can go for an FF, you go for a fast commerce age because you already have GMT. It's magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
Italy, now you can use the Lombard as they're supposed to be. Like you can have a huge amount of one resource that slowly trickles down, and you cannot change it. You have to commit to a macro, but you're going to have gigantic shipments of resources, right? You go on Japanese now. Shrine wagons, the 5 shrine wagons. If you don't use the heavenly kami, it's actually better than 700 wood.
So maybe you can help me out with this one too, because it seems like they now have 2x 5 shrines and 2x 4 shrines that increases their gather rate.
Yep.
Okay.
So that means if you do the first 2 shrines, every other shrine can be sent through a shipment.
Oh shit.
But here's the great thing
You're
about
right.
it. 7 lucky god is moved to H1, so you can actually get the XP for it.
Yeah.
So now you have another kind of boom, which is really interesting because it's a counterable one. Because all of these wagons, you can intercept them and kill them. So you give a greedy option for Japan. What I would have loved is to give the hero the ability to play shrine, but as always, but slower. Give this real identity of now you can send the shrines, and now that good. But again, clear identity for Japan. You can send shrines now, and it's actually good. The one thing, can we just say it and flex like bosses? We called for this exact reduction of siege damage reduced to 10 from steel bolts. And we said in this Discord, because siege archery is 5 damage at 1.5 rate of fire, So steel bolts should be 10 at 3 rate of fire. And this is exactly what they did.
I
And that
also
is awesome.
I also like the wherever port is, Fatorius change.
Yes.
Because like
No
we
XP.
literally, not those specific numbers, but that's what we said, like just get rid of the XP and decrease Fatorius food generation, or like decrease just by a little bit. I think these are down from what their original numbers were, but just get rid of XP and Fatorius is going to be fine, and it kind of is.
So I love how bold they were on this patch. I think Lakota is going to be busted out of their minds. Come to think of it, you just gave skirmishers minus 20% against all heavy cav.
Oh, that's right.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
That's gonna
That's
hurt. Because
yeah.
the rifle rider, he's a heavy cav.
There's no Lakota notes in here. They didn't touch Lakota at all.
Oh, they don't need to.
No, they don't. I'm just realizing now though that they didn't touch Lakota at all. So, but the skirm nerf, you're gonna have axe riders galore in your base. They may need to drop the, they may need to drop it back down to 3 axe riders twice.
Gatling gun change.
Yep.
I know some people are against it, but hey, now the devs
They
say it's not
didn't
fine against
change.
cav.
They didn't change the Gatling gun. They just changed. Well, they did change the Gatling gun. The Cav bonus needed to change, and CMG is now age 4. Like that's.
You know what I love?
That is a welcome change and needed to happen.
Exactly. And the thing I love is you can still go for your, mask of female gun play.
Sure, and you still get the free age up to 4. You just have to survive long enough for that now, and that's harder.
They didn't remove the strat. They just said like, hey, you don't need to counter cav with artillery, which I find fair.
You need to counter it with carbine cavalry.
Yep.
Buffalo Soldiers moved to age 3.
Are you guys trying to say that the devs want units to function as intended? Because like these are the same guys that made the Krabat. Do you think they learned?
I mean, look at that. I'm pleasantly surprised with this patch.
They might have.
I gotta say.
Or this means the next Civ is just going to be like the Krabat Civ. And they're going to be like, haha, fuck you. Fuck all of you. It's a fucking mounted obvious. Eat my asshole. And then that's it. And then they'll be like, no more updates. Fuck all of you, ungrateful bastards.
The new Civ, every unit just says good against all units. Every single.
Good against all. Right, the mounted Gatling gun, the mounting obvious gun, right? The mounted fixed gun, like just fucking keep going.
Fixed gun. And you can refund the costs instead of dying.
You have coffee mill explorers now.
Coffee mill explorers. Yeah. It's called the Portugal Bandeiras one. That looks like so much fucking trolling potential.
Oh my god, just insta buyback.
Just nope. Like I want to do that against Aztecs, and if I do it, I'm gonna type it into the chat. Is this fun? Because let me tell you, let me fucking tell you.
How about a taste of your own medicine?
Exactly. How does it feel? Huh? Why don't you dance it back? Oh, that's right. Yeah, don't work like that anymore, does it, buddy? Huh? You gotta walk all the way across the fucking map because you kept camping my goddamn TC with that fucking plaza. I warned you. I warned all of you kids.
You thought it was fun, but behind the bar, the devs were waiting with the baseball bat.
I mean, I do think that Aztecs are gonna need like a legitimate rework now at some point because like they really took a bat to them. But like that shit had to go. It just fucking had to go.
Oh, I think
Sorry.
the worst thing is not that. Like the ERK, holy shit, the ERK got absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
huge nerf against infantry. And
Also,
their
like
main
how
units.
Russia got just like I was telling him earlier. You'll get this reference, Dunamai, but how Russia gets like the 10 population, and it's just like Goths, where it's like we need help in the early game, plus 10 pop in age 4, but
yeah,
how do we get there? But when you do, but how do we get there? But when you do, plus 10 pop.
you know, and
What did they do to Russia?
You get 10 extra pop.
And age
In age-
5,
age
or
4?
whenever you get a house. Well, I guess technically whenever you get
your max pop is like 210. It's like China. Whenever you get there, you can get there.
So like
Actually,
you
well,
could get there in age
I can
3.
get it, so I can get an extra batch of struts. Okay.
Yep. Because it literally says in the patch notes, because your units are so weak, you get extra pop.
So here's when it's fun. You know what's the best and most population efficient cavalry in the game? All right, Cossacks. And you know what's funny? Now they're not counted by skirmishers anymore.
Don't you mean javelin riders there, Dunamai?
Oh, Jav Riders did get a nerf though.
Oh yeah, they
did.
took the bat.
Oh, I didn't.
Minus 20 HP.
Holy shit! Yes. Fuck.
Yeah.
How
Which
about you get two
isn't
shots
as
from
much as they
backpack now?
reduced the Hackapellet by the way. They reduced the
I think it
Hackapellet
is.
by 30 HP. From
Right,
two,
the
from
Hackapellet,
240 to 210.
But if you think about it, like the Hackapellet is 2 pop, so it's almost like 40 pop reduction on the javelin per pop. Almost res too.
Oh, that's true.
Does Russia get plus 10 pop in age 3 or 4?
Whenever you
It's
want.
whatever.
You can. It's like China. If you can get there in age 1, you will get it.
What do you mean
Like
get
your-
it there? What is it? What is it?
So your maximum population space is not 200 anymore. It's 210 in all ages.
Oh, okay. So I just have to build more houses for it. Okay.
Yeah, it's essentially like China.
Except you don't have a resource effective.
Well, and
Building.
China got a pretty big nerf too this patch.
Oh, I didn't. Chinese?
Yeah.
Ish.
Well,
It is.
it's a train time. Pretty much everything, all of their train times were increased by 2 to 4
And they
seconds.
also, and the Summer Palace lost 100 food, and it also they slowed down. I'm sorry, they increased the cost by 50 for the Being Army. But Keshiks now have target lock,
Yeah, Keshiks have target locks. That's fun.
which is
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, repelling volley. Woohoo. Get fucked.
That- yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, I mean, because you should have seen like the leaked nerfs that they were going to do. China was fucking vicious. So I assume like people were like, come on, man, like it's a billion people in the country, like, chill. And they're like, all right, fine, we'll just actually address the issue instead of like overcorrecting like usual.
So I like it, but I don't know why. Disciple now inflicts 2.5 times damage against mercenaries. I mean, it's cool, but why?
Because China couldn't always just face fuck mercenaries to death with the death ball.
Does China not have a spy type unit available to it?
Now they do.
They don't.
Yeah, they do now.
Yeah, now it's infinite. Yeah.
That's probably why.
But yeah,
So
I mean, it's just like
is now
quality
infinite
of
spying. Go ahead.
it's quality of life, like because the disciples are good for what they are. I mean, they're 50 food. They pop, from a mobile ship, barracks essentially. I mean, it's a interesting change. I don't think it's overpowered. Don't think it's overpowered. I think it's just like one of those things, like if you've got like some sort of super heavy cav coming at you, like Medi or People Lancers, you could just be like, nope.
I love the fact that we're saying it feels balanced, and next thing we know, like the meta is Disciple Rush against Scottish immigrants rush from USA.
Oh God.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
Did
That would
Scottish
be so
immigrants get
awesome.
put? Did Scottish immigrants get put into H2 again?
Yeah, but
It did,
you
but it got-
lose one Highlander from it, so
What do you mean lose one?
it
used to have
you lose
one by
one. It doesn't come with one anymore.
And it's 400 coin instead of 350.
Oh yeah, that's also true. But the Marine strat got shit on a little bit because their siege damage is not as much as it once was.
Fucking god.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was ridiculous. You can't monocomp Marines anymore. You have to mix stuff in, more stuff in.
Oh, yeah, just build your fucking gats. They tear down buildings just fine. Like
Yeah, that's also true.
you'll be okay. You'll be okay. You might actually be weak against Cav actually if you do that because yeah, try Cav.
Cav,
Um,
yeah, especially Lancers, kind of fuck with Marines.
good. So there's some counterplay to that.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, USA got some bills back.
but Marines can be
That's-
healed, which is, I guess, nice.
And
Yeah, like I think
Settler
your brother
Limit
trying to cook something up with that.
I think that's
'Cause he's about it.
that's a welcome change.
yeah, I think 85 was a bit too much. Like you don't have as United States.
Yeah, I don't even know why it was 85 to begin with. Like, what?
All of the
People-
immigrants,
Yeah.
Hmm.
like
US
Germany immigrants was
USA gets a lot of trickle options between Dutch Bank,
Yeah.
or Pennsylvania Pound, and
Right.
That's
They're
yeah.
They're
Okay.
stupid. They're stupid. California. I'm a Botto player wannabe type of shit. Top of them. They don't have to build
They
stuff. You know, their
do.
town centers don't need bills. They just ship a wagon. All that type of stuff.
Capitalism.
I don't know about
Right,
treaty, but in supremacy, the United States had like the best late game eco 9 out of 10 times. Because like you don't even have to bring cards for it. You could just make it up as you win. Supremacy, that is.
Hey, guys, by the way, after how many buff do you think the Inca Maceman will be viable?
Probably another 2.
Because I think we're at that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're at 3, right?
Yeah.
In a row, something like that. Like they got
Well,
target locked, they got siege resistance in another patch, and now it's cost reduction.
I did like to be.
just fine with Inca in the tournament.
I did have like a goofy Inca Mapuche rush using the H1 Silversmith that actually might be decent now.
Oh no.
They do have they have like 3 range, but they used to have 3 attack and it's all shitty.
Vin- Vindians claiming that javelin riders are trash compared to other goons.
That took fast. He's on the ball.
Yeah.
Chaff riders, they're only an H2 goon. That's really good.
And you know, you just say like Feitoria is now the number 1 H1 card, and the thing is, that's the interesting part. Is it's a choice. I think it's an actual choice now. It's not like you have to do it or you don't have to do it. Like Eco Theory is like decent when you have your first TC, and in the late game it's gonna be, I think, better unless you go for some Brazil bullshit. But now the trickle is decent enough so that you might want to choose it, because you know if you get aggroed or rushed, it's good. But it's not like this, like, hey, here, have free XP and just go FF. It's a wonderful change.
I like it because I feel like that's the first thing. Is like I feel like Eco Theory is better for greed. So like either team games or maybe like a Spice Trade semi FF. And Victoria is like my FF, or like you said, expecting a lot of idle time.
So I love the fact that Cat said they buffed the chakrams, but I don't think they did, because their buff was that chakrams are now light infantry, right?
Yeah.
So they now deal
Less damage
minus-
against Cav.
Yeah.
When one Hussar defeats your Grenadierments. Well, I guess at least if they're light, they don't get countered as hard by other light.
True. True.
I mean, overall, I think this is a, for the most part, this is a solid patch. There's like a few things that I'm like, we'll have to see. I mean, obviously, people are gonna dive into this in the PUP and figure out broken stuff pretty
I
quickly.
mean, other than Inshallah, Inshallah, praise be to Allah, the Caliph in Istanbul, praise him, for he guides our hands, our Ottoman hands. He makes our TCs produce ever bountifully. He makes our H2 rush good.
He does what to age?
Two rush.
He makes the H2 rush even deadlier for Ottoman.
That's
but
like
the
the
thing is,
one
light
thing
infantry
I'm
units-
most concerned about is the change to Ottomans. Everything else is pretty good.
Why is the
This
H2
bit-
Rush better for Ottomans.
I think it's worse, honestly.
How is it worse?
The light infantry units got nerfed across the board, and like, unless you do a double Drax Gen Rush.
Or you do a double racks like ASAP Jan, or you ship Jans, or if you really want to be ballsy, you ship 7 ASAPs and you build Humbrasi and then you push.
That's very ballsy, but I like it.
You mean the unit that is faster than almost any other skirm in H2, so you can't even use skirms really, just to chase them down. And now they have extra melee damage, almost like a Hussar.
Yeah, maybe Dutch is gonna struggle against Odo.
No, Dutch already has a hard time because you can just Jan cannon the ranks. But I think where this comes into for me is either civs like Portugal. They used to just do like a semi, Huss, and it was really hard to stop Ottoman. You had to FF, but then there's just so much Minimin that it's easy for them to snipe your Falcons. Then you're left with like 1,000,000 HP morons running around with cool hats doing fuck all. For the working guns cleaning up, or like one cat store kiting. This really helps into Malta, which is even cooler because Otto already beat the shit out of him in H3. Because the thing about Humbarachi is like they lose to skirms, but crossbows not so much. Because the crossbow range is only like 2 more, and crossbows have a firing animation, and they're not as fast. So, like, the thing about Obus, like, the Obus was overtuned, don't get me wrong. But this, like, gives them, like, you could at least build mass cavalry in H2 and kind of cut off Ottoman's knees. Now they have a pike ship. So even the Obus, what's weaker about the Obus, effectively, other than less range resistance? So now it ships 7 pikes with it to defend itself. So you can open with a foundry anyways.
The thing is, if you have just cavalry to tank the Abus shot, unless you micro like a god and you focus down the musketeers, musketeer and hussar is going to be hard to deal with for Ottomans, because the musketeer would just straight up wreck the ASAPs. And I don't think the Abus, the Jan Abus combo, should you have it,
that
will be able to
ASAPs
kill
have
the cav in time.
Did you forget that ASAPs have range resistance now?
I might have.
Yeah. There's tanky as a crossbow.
Huh.
Yeah.
So now it might be a viable option to go, as you said, like Abus and ASAPs. But it's super hard to macro for, though.
Yeah. Creates them being faster than everybody. I don't think it's going to be meta necessarily. I'm just saying that like the Obus nerfs are largely offset by having all of these other good options, and then it scales into the late game. So it's not even like punishing me for going pikes. I can just keep scaling forever.
Holy shit! I didn't see that. The warrior now grants 10 XP to the enemy player when defeated.
There are no free meals in Age of Empires 3 anymore.
Ooh. Oh, big oof for Aztec Turtle now. Ooh, that's bad.
That's great. What do you mean?
I mean, it's bad for Aztecs. It's great for the game, but
Yeah.
oh, because I think I played against Pete, the most annoying turtle game ever as Aztecs.
You just spam warriors every like 3 seconds, and any push that they
Walls,
do is
warriors, and towers. Because it was so good for Aztecs, and it like was basically the only way I knew how to play Aztecs. So I'm gonna have to actually learn the Civ now. Ugh.
How dare you?
But to be fair, every Civ who has shock infantry is gonna be buffed. Because I think you might have a moment where a given mass cannot one-shot a coyote anymore, so you take like twice the number of shots to take down the mass. Because it was minus 20% for heavy cav, but it was minus 33 for shock infantry.
What is this change? I'm not
Sure, I understand.
So I put in the voice chat, text chat, I know it's confusing, the main change of this patch, which is a global mechanical change across the board for all kind of light infantry units, including, for example, the Argentine Slinger, the Skirmisher, the Crossbowman, everything that's not heavy infantry or, militiaman type. And it is that their damage is reduced by 20% against heavy cav and by 33% against hand shock infantry. Like across the board. Whenever you're a skirmisher or an archer, you do either minus 20% or minus 33% against cav or shock infantry.
Okay, so
Which
you're
is
saying that
huge.
you're saying that it buffs. Okay, you're saying that it buffs shock infantry a lot.
It
more
buffs
now.
all
Yeah.
cav. I mean, it just makes cav better overall.
I like the sound of that.
I know.
I just realized too that the China Cav with like even the changes to double faced armor, all the things shooting at them are going to do like nothing.
I'm pretty sure this was a preventive change. Yes.
So that but it's effectively still like a net buff because the crossbows are doing less damage.
Yes.
We're doing 20% less damage. I lose 5% armor. So
the one thing I could say is like China might struggle more against musketeer type units because you're not incentivized to send repelling volley anymore. And
the damage
your
is 10%. The multiplier is still there for repelling volley.
Yeah, I agree. But the card was such a slam dunk before. Like there was no reason not to send it, basically. Now you're gonna have to think before sending it.
No, I mean I'm gonna ship it after my 2-unit shipments, and I have like 40 arcs. I don't know.
And
The
to be
China
honest,
changes feel like they're only gonna matter at like the higher levels, where like these little things kind of matter. Like I'm still gonna have the fuck huge banner ball of bullshit.
I think I
my
would send the
FF is
territorial
delayed
army
20
before.
seconds. That's something.
Yeah, I
Roughly
think it's gonna be
15, 20
delayed.
seconds.
Like the 100 foot extra and the train time reduced. Yeah.
2 seconds. I mean, it's still like.
It's
If you
still
think
good,
about it,
don't get me wrong.
That's more like a treaty change, I think, because like it's going to take, essentially compared to the standard, 25 seconds of musks in infantry. God, how many batches till that probably makes an important difference? 5, 10 batches. I mean, that matters over the course of a game, but your stuff's already cost effective. I feel like China remains pleasantly unnerved for the most part. Like these are things that
I'm very
probably
curious to
help.
see what happens in terms of like win rates over the next like couple weeks after the patch comes out.
All right. Yeah, we'll see what comes out. I could imagine.
I
Double team
think you.
Spahi.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh god.
I don't think you can pay too much attention to the data, like for at least a month after the patch, because people are gonna have to adjust, and just people are gonna be making mistakes because of that. Like
I mean, I give credit to the
once
people that
there's
are
level-
higher elo to be able to like find a build.
and you can track it on the data. Like if USA's win rate drops suddenly because all the GAT spammers are relearning, like you should be able to actually track that in real time, essentially.
Yeah, well,
then it
and we
should
can.
recover.
I mean, we just can. We can track that.
Yeah. Doesn't mean
And-
that USA's quote nerfed to the ground. It just means that the win rate goes down. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just that's stats.
It's at
Can we
50%
also
right
talk
now,
about-
actually.
Go ahead.
But let's get it. Let's get it down to 25. Let's go. Remove the Marines. Remove TCs. No villagers. Fuck you. You know this game starts in 1500. You in the United States, it's not a goddamn thing because you don't even exist. You'll spawn when your opponent gets to age 4. Welcome to the revolution, buddy.
you get your explorer, and that's it until
Survive. Objective.
you better
Survive.
once someone reaches age 4, then you get your TC and you get an artillery foundry, and you can make your Gatling guns then. But you just can't lose your explorer until that point.
Yep. You get Minutemen. Welcome to the revolution. Like age 4.
I mean,
Can we just talk about the fact that Circle Army is like a monster now too, and actually super good card?
Yeah, the German changes are pretty solid. The age
I
too much
love it.
might-
What did they do?
I can see the age must getting fucked with, but I think for now, Germany hasn't been OP in a while, so go ahead, give them a go.
What did they do to Germany? I have a tough time against Germany sometimes. What did they do to?
I just added to the voice chat, but basically there was an infinite shipment that gave you 5 Brunswickers, which were basically musketeers, good musketeers, 4 mountain infantry, sorry, that were basically ranged lancer, so to speak, and 2 Saxon cuirassier. And every time you switch, that would change the thing that is sent. And once you send a cuirassier, you would go back to Brunswickers. It used to be 5, 4, and 2, and now it's 13 musketeers, 8 ranged lancer, and 5 Saxon cuirassier. But they had added a 250 food and 250 wood cost.
This is an age 3 shipment.
Mhm.
This is an H3 shipment, infinite, and it's natives. It doesn't take pop.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
also,
That's actually a good card now.
they also
Yes,
made
sir.
Prince Electors halfway decent by moving to age 1 and getting the wagon for embassy immediately.
That's good change.
Also, can we talk about how this new Japan Shrine card is meant to make sure Japan will always and forever be the most hated civ in the game?
You know what? I love that change. It gives an identity to the Civ.
I mean, it's good. I don't think it's broken, but if you thought people hated shrines before, once they fix themselves, it's going to be nothing but salt.
That's also true.
A Japan
fix
assault line
themselves? What do you mean?
Know it
They-
coming. I love
What
it.
do you mean they fixed themselves?
You can send a
They can
card now.
slowly repair.
Yeah, you send a card now, and it makes them twice, by the way. So you can send it twice so that they get 5% gather rate each, and after sending the card, they repair themselves.
I realized that was one of their twicers too. Wow.
Yeah. So
Also-
you can send. There's 10. There's 18 total
Sounds like
shrine wagons available to Japan in age 2 now.
Jesus.
Sounds like an expensive card to send, to be honest.
It's free.
Yeah, but look at it another way. 7 lucky gods, which enable XP generation on shrines, is now age 1. And the thing I love is it's another way to create a build for Japan. You send 7 lucky gods, you get XP. From this XP, you send more shrine, that gives more XP, that send more shrine, and you do your shrine boom that way.
That might actually
Or-
be a better way to go, because part of Japan's identity is that
Please.
they get a whole bunch of shipments twice. So, like, in order to send all your 2x shipments, you need a lot of XP. So, like, the XP shrine boom might actually be a thing now.
And the thing I love about it is that what was making Japan hated? It was the poof, in my opinion. Like, you catch the explorer building stuff, he
And-
finished the build, and he just poofs.
And
Fuck you.
the daimyo.
I was only 11 units away from having the largest army in this game.
And now you can, intercept the wagons, should you do that. But in exchange, these shipments are super good. Like 5 shrines.
That's good.
Think about
H2.
five,
good.
like
I mean,
an
let's be
extra
honest here,
5% on XP is actually kind of big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely. I mean, it's not that Japan has like extra shipments or anything, right?
No, not at all. What do you mean?
Not at all. Not a big deal.
No, I don't think this is like, because there's still a lot of other good cards to send as Japan. Like I don't see any Japan mains sending Heavenly or whatever, sending 2 Vills and then 5 wagons and 5 wagons and 4 wagons and 4 wagons. Like that's just not gonna happen. That's too slow.
And it's slow, and you're already slow as Japan. So like that's just asking to die to like the basic rush.
Yeah.
I agree. It gives
Yeah.
Japan an option to greed that's like a little bit sneakier, probably.
I do wonder, though, if somehow that lets them get away with doing something more defensive than Toshugu for H2. Probably not, but I mean, it really depends on the numbers, right?
You want to know
Oh, yeah.
something funny about it?
It does. It's a good change.
I
don't
think
mind,
it
like,
I think it makes going up with like Torii Gates just better.
Yes.
Yes.
I was about to say that because Torii Gates, if I remember correctly, buffs the build XP.
It does.
So the
Like,
thing is, this
And it
shipments,
increases
they
your-
cost less because you get the XP back to get your other shipments. So
And you get your
actual decent build
production
for that.
building. You just get your production building.
Yeah, because of the age of reward.
Yeah. Also, it makes allying with ports less important as the first thing you do as Japan.
Yeah.
you can actually
like,
pick Spain, get an XP trickle on top of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Dutch to get the bank
Yes.
early.
Yeah.
Oh,
Options.
really works?
Viable
On top-
options.
Speaking here as a Cav player, I actually think it's viable for Japan to go Cav now, open with a stable, because you can, if you do Japanese isolationism and you do an XP boom, you can just ship your infantry.
Also, can we? So everyone's going to be happy about coffee mill guns, but can we talk about how Buffalo Soldiers Age 3 is actually a fantastic choice for USA?
Well, yeah, I think
Yes.
we talked about this earlier. Like it makes countering, like you don't counter in Age 3, you don't counter Cav with artillery anymore. You counter it with dragoons.
Well, that's it. They're like, okay, we took away the most meme card, but in exchange, your actual normal build can be completed and not, rely on their something.
This was like something that I literally suggested during one of our many heated Gatling bitch fests. That
Which one
regularly
was that?
takes
Was
part
that
in
Gat
server
Bitch Fest
weekly.
number 1 or Gat Bitch Fest number 50?
I mean, I don't even know, but at least once a week we have a real passionate debate amongst everyone here.
Okay, but
Different people too. That's what's so interesting. Not even like the same usual suspects. It's a we got a good 12, 15 regulars, and then everyone else throws in their 2 cents about how much they hate Gatling guns.
buy some
Um,
spades.
so
What up?
yeah, needless to say, but that was like my exact suggestion is like buff the carbine cavalry so it can actually like defend against Hussar, so that way USA isn't totally fucked as an infantry civ, and then nerf the Gat against Cav. So like now, Gats are like organ guns. Like no one really bitches about organ guns because like they rip
Yes.
infantry to shreds and they do okay against buildings. Like that's fair.
Spade, can I point out, I don't know if you guys saw like this particular scrawl in the general discussion that's moving at the speed of light. There are so many changes on there that I can recall distinctly being a conversation point in general discussion like the past couple of months. Dude, they're listening to us.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking smart people in this Discord. Like, honest to God.
Also, I promise you guys I will not let out the full vocal fervor I have about the Dutch changes. But
I love
oh
it.
my god, yes.
What are the
Just
Dutch
yes.
changes? No, I want to hear 'em.
What are the Dutch changes?
So the bank card in H4 got buffed to 25%, and they get a super interesting shipment that makes mercenaries train and move faster, but in exchange, the whole regular army costs more. So you can now concentrate on a gold-heavy army, which is what you want to
and
do
you
anyway,
you can train them from your.
and you can train from your racks, right?
Wow.
And royal horsemen out of your barracks, stables, and taverns.
Wow. I missed that. That's crazy.
I do wonder if Fusiliers and Elmedi will get in there too, but I could see why they wouldn't. Oh, and don't forget they decided to buff Royal Horsemen again to 900 HP, which means they might actually be slightly competitive compared to Gendarmes. Whereas before it's like, why would I make this as France? Is
I
Italy
agree.
the
Absolutely. It's pretty. They're like almost costed as much as what, like 1.5 Crossier. So having the HP of 1.5 is like, because they do less DPS still.
But see, the 2 AoE puts in a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. But now with 900 HP, they also have the raw beef to like be a viable choice. Like I remember comparing because base stats they're good, but since you only get them H4 anyways, you only can buy like 5 of them before you could just upgrade to Gendarmes, and then you're like, okay, these numbers didn't really make sense. Especially since France doesn't have any reason to like spend that much point at once. But for Dutch to get these trainable out of stables, oh, we'll
And Dutch
see.
they get cav combat, and it
Yeah.
affects all cav.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, I've been wanting Highlanders trainable officially since I was a kid, and then I've been like, I really feel like I'm missing something with the Royal Horsemen, and now here I get both. We've got Highwaymen.
Wait. What unit did you say?
Which
I
unit?
missed it. It's Highlanders?
Highland.
Oh, shit. They gave Musketeers to Dutch?
Yep, you go spend the coin for it. You've got the good
Oh.
reliable.
Oh, fuck. I thought it was, for some reason, I thought it was Jaegers. Oh,
Well,
God. Let's
let's hear. Since somebody loves to spam Zouave everywhere, I guess they've opened up the floodgates, haven't they, dude?
So now
If they drink fast enough,
Dutch pays for my sins?
Well, don't forget, they're
People love
politicians.
Super Musk units. Let's just start handing
Look,
them out.
we should have seen this coming when they gave Brit skirmishers. Like no one asked for Brit to have skirmishers, and no one asked for Dutch to have musketeers, and now here we are.
Hey, let's be fair here. No one ever did this because there's no reason to, but Dutch always had the mercenary musketeer available. Their mercenary age up card is Elmedi and Fusilier. So if those train fast enough, you can either have like the beefiest musket mercenary in the game, or you can have Corellians on crack. Your pick a musketeer.
Fuck.
Just
Don't
by the way,
basic. Still move 5 fucking speed too.
we need to like
Dutch States
speak with our
armies
devs and
train and
tell them like,
move
look,
faster.
we appreciate all the hard work you guys do. But it's like, I think you need to have a new rule at your job site. It's called the Jeff Goldblum rule. And every time you guys implement a change, you have to look at a poster of Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park saying they were so busy trying to see if they could, they never asked if they should. We're going to call that the Jeff Goldblum rule. And it's like every time they like the Ottoman buffs. Okay, yes, you can buff Azap and Umbarachi.
No, you be quiet. This is a perfect change, needs nothing. No, you're wrong. Keep it. Anyways, moving on. The other card, because I understand this is one of the most frustrating outlaws in the game, lets them train highwaymen. Cheaper and with less pop cost. Out of stables and taverns.
Do you think
Yeah.
it combos with taverns, which they still get?
So Dutch actually has a way to use all their coin now instead of just dumping it into the market.
Yep.
And I'll
I
guess
mean,
this
literally the
hello-
civ that's the most historically and economically blatant choice for a mercenary civ in the game. Yeah, they found like, should we just do that already? And they're doing it.
Yeah, I think there was a
Like,
reason
tilted
why they
arm-
didn't do that in the first place, but
Eat
let's see
my
what it.
tilted
We'll
or
see.
you
We'll see what
fools.
happens. I may be a Dutch main. starting
I'm
starting
serious.
as soon as PUP goes live.
I'm serious. This is like someone asked me in the chat, and I was like, "Yep, I finally got my main. I'm happy now."
No, but I really want to know now. Like Buck Riders plus theaters, does it enable like one pop highwayman?
Oh my god.
That might. That might.
Oh
Because
no.
just picture this. Just picture this. Just real quick. Just a deck with 2 extra bank in age 1 card, a million walls, maybe some sheep thrown in there for good measure because you don't want to go out.
Yeah, you can't run out of
you have
food.
7 banks, Buck Riders in H2, taverns, theaters, and now you have 3 stables behind your walls, 7 towers. You're unpushable in H2, but you cannot be punished. And if they do anything close to your base, 50 fucking Buck Riders raid the shit out of your village. How does that sound?
That sounds great. What do you mean?
I love it. I'm a Dutch fan now.
Yeah.
Damn it! This is getting nerfed, isn't it?
Screw Ottoman. Everybody's gonna be playing Dutch now.
In 2D or FFA.
I mean, there's no reason to play Ottoman anymore. They don't give the team extra melee armor to cavalry, so.
Yeah, they do.
worthless.
It's a mosque tech,
They do.
dude.
Well, but it doesn't. The reading
It's a
the text.
double. You can send 2 team shipments.
But I reading
2
the
team
text.
shipments is fun. You ever
Reading the text, I didn't see it mention team for that though, so it might just be the player now. Which is,
I am no. They said they moved it, so I'm hoping it's just the player. Because if not, I'm telling you right the fuck now that in every team game, that I feel like being a dirty bastard. I'm just gonna be like, hey, give me res. Let's just fucking end this in like 10 minutes.
if it's a
Let's just have
church-
16 spotty out with 30%, or sorry, 20% range and 10% melee armor running around. This is fair.
No, yeah, seriously, if it's a church tech that affects the team, oh fucking god, that would be hilarious. And so bullshit, but it is a church tech or a mosque tech, so I have to assume it became player only.
I would assume it's because traditionally Ottoman wasn't the greatest treaty team or team player civ, because all it did was bot Obis. And so naturally, we're just going to buff everything to Obis levels. Of course.
Or, well, hey, it's going to be really easy to spam all that with 40% train time and whatever cost reduction at age 4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I gotta cook dinner, boys. I'm out. But
See ya.
I see.
good talk.
Yep.
Hey,